You're going to watch this video, and then you're going to go about your day. You'll make dinner, check your phone, maybe talk to someone you know, and all of it will feel completely normal. But somewhere in the back of your mind, something will be different. Not wrong, exactly. Just different. Because once you notice certain things, you can't unnotice them. They don't go away. They just sit there, in every routine action, every mundane moment, waiting for you to remember that you saw them. So here are 25 things that feel perfectly normal, until you actually think about them. First, you spend a third of your life unconscious. Every single night, you lie down, lose all awareness of reality, hallucinate vividly for hours, and then wake up and just accept that this happened. We call it sleep and treat it like the most natural thing in the world. But you're regularly experiencing a state that's closer to death than waking life, and you need it to survive. Your phone knows where you are right now. It knows where you were yesterday. It knows the route you take to work, the places you visit most, the exact moment you arrive home each day. And you carry it with you voluntarily, because not carrying it feels more dangerous than carrying it. Most of your childhood memories are gone. Not suppressed or hidden, just gone. You lived thousands of days as a child, and you can probably remember a few dozen moments at most. Entire years of your life existed, and you have no proof they happened except other people's testimony. You recognize your own face in a mirror, but only because you've been conditioned to. The reflection you see doesn't actually look like what you look like to others. It's reversed, flattened, usually seen under specific lighting. The face everyone else sees is one you've never actually witnessed. Anesthesia doesn't put you to sleep. It disconnects your consciousness from forming memories. You could be awake during surgery, experiencing everything, but you'd have no way of knowing because your brain isn't recording it. The hours just vanish, and you trust that nothing happened during them. Every photo you appear in will outlast you. Decades after you're gone, your face will still exist in digital storage, on old hard drives, in database. Future people you'll never meet might see your face and have no idea who you were. You'll be visual data with no context. You've been assigned a number by your government, and that number is more permanent than your name. It's attached to every significant thing you do, and losing it can make you essentially invisible to institutions. You didn't choose it, but it defines your legal existence. Almost everything you believe about history was written by someone with an agenda. You weren't there, you can't verify it, and the people who recorded it had reasons to present events in certain ways. But you base your understanding of reality on these accounts because there's no alternative. Your body replaces its cells constantly, but you still consider yourself the same person. Almost nothing physical that made up you 10 years ago is still part of you now. The continuity is just a story your brain tells itself. Passwords are just words that only you know, and that's supposedly enough to protect your entire digital life. Your bank account, your email, your identity, all safeguarded by the assumption that nobody else will guess a specific sequence of characters. You eat things that were alive, and you do it so routinely that you unthink about the fact that your survival requires other living things to die. Every meal represents something that used to be growing or breathing, and it's on your plate because we've industrialized the process of ending life. Most people go to work at jobs they don't particularly like, for most of their waking hours, for most of their adult lives, because the alternative is losing access to food and shelter. We call this normal. We call this just how things work. You trust that the food you buy isn't poisoned because you assume someone else checked it. You assume regulations are followed, that inspections happen, that people in the supply chain care about your safety. But you're eating things prepared by strangers, trusting a system you can't see. Every person you pass on the street is living a life as complex as yours. They have memories, fears, routines, relationships. Thousands of them. And you'll never know anything about almost all of them. They exist fully, and you barely register their presence. You can't prove you're not dreaming right now. Every dream you've ever had felt real while you were in it. You only know it was a dream after waking up. So how do you know this moment isn't the same? You don't. You just assume. Social media platforms have more information about your behavior patterns than you do. They know what makes you pause, what makes you click, what emotions drive your engagement, and they use that information to keep you looking at the screen. And it works. Your name was chosen by people who didn't know you yet. They picked sounds they liked and attached them to you permanently, before you had any personality or preferences. And now it's who you are, in legal terms, until you go through a complicated process to change it. You've probably walked past multiple murderers in your life without knowing it. Statistically, in any large crowd, there are people who have killed someone. They look like everyone else. They're just there, going about their day, and you'd never know. Your memories change every time you remember them. Each time you recall an event, your brain slightly rewrites it based on your current state, emotions, and context. Your most treasured memories might be significantly different from what actually happened, and you'd have no way of knowing. Almost no one will remember you 100 years from now. Your great-great-grandchildren might not know your name. All your worries, achievements, embarrassments, the things that feel so important now, they'll be completely forgotten. You'll be as unknown as people from the 1800s are. To you now, you're trapped inside your skull with no direct access to external reality. Everything you experience is filtered through biological sensors and interpreted by your brain. You're not seeing the world as it is. You're seeing your brain's best guess about what's happening outside. Hospitals are buildings where people go to either get better or die. And when you walk into one, you don't know which outcome applies to you yet. Everyone in the waiting room is sitting in that uncertainty together and pretending everything is routine. You're hurtling through space on a rocket over 67,000 miles per hour, spinning as you go, and you can't feel any of it. The ground feels still. The air feels calm, but you're in constant, violent motion, held down only by an invisible force you can't directly perceive. Every conversation you have is performed with meat. Your tongue, your vocal cords, your lips, all moving in precise patterns to create vibrations in the air that another person as meat interprets as meaning. Language is just organized flesh movements, and somehow it works. And finally, you're going to die, and you don't know when, and there's nothing you can do about it. It could be decades from now, or it could be today, and either way, at some point you'll experience your final moment of consciousness, and then nothing. And in the meantime, you just continue with your routine. Because what else is there to do? Thanks for watching. If your mind is a little bent out of shape now, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more. See you next time.